show you how to use a strategy called compensation to add and subtract. When we compensate for something in life, we try to find a way to do something that's difficult. We try to make it easier. And that's exactly what we do when we use compensation to add and subtract. So let's start with addition. Compensation works when one of your add-ins is close to a multiple of 10. Now, 57 is very close to the next multiple of 10, 60. In fact, if I add 3 more to 57, I will get 60. Now, what I'm trying to do with compensation is turn this equation, 57 plus 36, into an easier equation to solve. And it's a lot easier to add with a multiple of 10. But I have to get this 3 from somewhere. I'm going to take it from 36. 36 minus 3 is 33. And now I have a very easy equation to solve because 60 is a multiple of 10. So 60 plus 30 is 90, and 0 plus 3 equals 3. And that's my answer, 93. Now, compensation works well with 3-digit addition when one of the add-ins is close to a multiple of 100. Here I have 594 plus 156. 594 is very close to the next multiple of 100, and I know this because it has a 9 in the tens place. I know that if I add just 6 more to 594, I'm going to be at 600, the next multiple of 100. And I'm on my way to turning this equation into a really easy one to solve. But I have to get this 6 from somewhere if I'm going to add it to 594. I'll take it away from 156. 156 minus 6 equals 150. And this is a super easy equation to solve. 600 plus 150. 600 plus another 100 is 700. 0 tens plus 5 tens is 5 tens, and 0 plus 0 equals 0. And that's my sum, 750. Now, compensation works really well on this kind of subtraction equation, 72 minus 39. The reason it's going to work well here is because my subtrahend, the number I'm taking away, is very close to a multiple of 10. I can add 1 more to 39 and turn it into 40. And 40 is an easy number to subtract. Now, subtraction's a little different from addition. With subtraction, whatever I do to the subtrahend, I have to do the same thing to the minuend, which means I have to add 1 more to 72 as well. 72 plus 1 more is 73. I tell my students, think of the letter S if you use compensation with subtraction. Subtraction, subtrahend, and do the same thing to the minuend. And I've done that. I've turned this equation, 72 minus 39, into a really easy one to solve, 73 minus 40. 70 minus 40 equals 30. And I don't even have to worry about the ones because there's a 0 in the ones place in my subtrahend. So I just keep the 3 in the ones place. And there's my difference, 33. Here's another great equation to use compensation with, 911 minus 292. Remember, I said that compensation works well when the subtrahend is close to a multiple of 10, or in this case, a multiple of 100. 292 is very close to a multiple of 100 because it's got a 9 in the tens place. I know that if I just add 8 more to this subtrahend, 292, then I'll arrive at 300, the next multiple of 100. I know that because 2 plus 8 is 10. And if I have a 9 in the tens place and I add another 10, then I'm at the next multiple of 100. Now remember, this is subtraction, and we think of the letter S when we use compensation with subtraction. Subtract, change the subtrahend into an easier number to take away, and whatever you do to the subtrahend, do the same thing to the minuend, the big number. So that means I have to add 8 to 911 too. 911 plus 8 more equals 919. And look at this super easy equation. 919 minus 300. The only thing I really need to think about is subtracting my hundreds. 900 minus 300 equals 600. And since there's a 0 in the tens place and a 0 in the ones place in my subtrahend, I can just keep the 1 in the tens place and the 9 in the ones place from 919. And here's my difference, 619. Super easy. I want you to see that compensation is a strategy that works well with certain kinds of equations. If you're adding with 2 digits, compensation works well if one of the add-ins is close to a multiple of 10. If you're adding with 3-digit numbers, then compensation will work well if one of your add-ins is close to a multiple of 100. Now, if you're subtracting, compensation works well when the subtrahend is either close to a multiple of 10 if you're subtracting a 2-digit number, or close to a multiple of 100 if you're subtracting a 3-digit number. And don't forget, if you're using compensation to subtract, you've got to remember the letter S. Subtract, turn this subtrahend into a multiple of 10 or a multiple of 100. And whatever you do to the subtrahend, do the same thing to the minuend.